Welcome. I'm Danielle, your personal online yoga teacher, and I am here to help you get out of your mind and into your body. And we do that through our breath. So I like to do a lot of yang style classes, a lot of vinyasa classes where we move with our breath, move quickly, move in and out with our breath. I also like to do that through yin style classes where we hold in stillness and just be with our breath. So it's a complementary practice to the vinyasas that I also teach, but they go great together hand in hand to work both yin and yang tissues in our bodies. So today we're getting into the yin tissues in the lower halves of our bodies, getting into our hips and our legs and our knees. So we're going to be doing just a few poses and holding them a bit. And the goal is to get comfortable. So you might need a bolster, you might want some blocks. I have a couch pillow that I'm going to use. You don't need anything fancy, just whatever you need to be able to soften in a bit. So grab whatever is available, have it handy, and we will meet on our mats in a seated position. All right, so with most of my yin classes, I like to hold each pose for 5 minutes and have a bell ring between them to signal it's time to change, time to move out. So I'm going to go ahead and start our timer and get our countdown started. All right, so we are on the clock. We are getting settled in, and we are going to start today in a wide-legged forward fold, a straddle pose, to use the yang terminology, to use the yin terminology. So we're going to bring our legs out in front of us. There's a couple of options, so you can decide what you want to do. We want to ease into it, so you can start by bending your knees a little bit, and your legs will straighten over time. You could put some pillows under your knees or put some blocks under your knees to support it. And we're just gently going to take our hands and start to walk forward. So if you need pillows under your knees, go ahead and start them. Then you can put a pillow under your chest or a block under your chest, whatever you want to do. You could also use a blanket to cushion under your knees. But I'm going to go ahead and straighten my legs because I have the flexibility. Lengthen with the heart. Then take my hands and start to walk forward. And then just try to go to your depth and settle in. So in yang classes, I like to kind of open with some meditation with a little connection with the breath. But in yin classes, the whole class is about the breath. So we're going to skip that today and just already start to connect in with our heart. So in this pose, we are constantly trying to make sure our feet are flexed, our feet are pointing up, and kind of rotating our legs back. We want to keep the joints safe. So constantly reminding ourselves to roll our legs back and then hinge deeper. And then just try to get comfortable. You can either put all your weight on the pillow if you're using it, or maybe you can come down to your forearms. If you can't quite come down to your forearms, this is also another great place to put blocks underneath them. There's so many options in yin for props. Pretty much whatever you can find in the house can be a prop if you're creative. So how can you find some space and softness in this pose? So we're already almost halfway through. So that's giving you the chance to reassess, can I go deeper? As I'm opening up, I'm noticing I had the space to walk my legs a little wider. So maybe you can straighten your legs a little bit. Maybe you can go deeper. If you are on your hands, can you walk them forward a little bit more? Now just find that depth and then hold. We want to soften in as much as we can, because the more our muscles are tensing up, the more resistance we have, the less work is going into our yin tissues, and it's staying in those yang tissues, those muscles. So we're trying to take our muscles out of it as best we can as we soften and breathe into the tightness. So As we're holding it, reassess, where are we feeling the breath right now? Can we send the breath to our back line? Maybe surrender the head a bit. If you want to do some neck roll side to side, that's also an option. Gentle tuck of the chin. And it really helps you go deeper. We're just over a minute left. So explore what you need to, and then just hold. Reassess. Can I go a little deeper? Soften in just a little bit more. If you're feeling any pain, right, we don't want to go so deep in this pose that we pull a muscle, that we damage our tissue. We're going right to our edge and then backing out just a little bit to keep the stretch where we want it and not hurt ourselves in the process. All right, and there is our cue to release. So gently start to walk yourself up. Gently take your hands underneath your knees, bend them a little bit, start to feel that release, then bringing them in. Might take a little bit if you need to windshield wiper your knees out, get a little bit of release. And when you feel ready, we're going to make our way into our second posture, caterpillar. So it's our seated legs together, forward fold. So I'm going to position to the side so you can see me setting up. So again, lots of options here, just depending on what feels good for you. Bend your knees as much as you need to, and then focus on bringing the upper body forward, and then you can start to straighten your legs out. So you might just want to be here. If you can't get your legs straight all the way, that's okay. Bend your knees, maybe put the pillow underneath your knees, and then hug your knees and just start to release in. If you can straighten the legs all the way, you can take the pillow underneath your chest again and start to rest on the pillow as you hover forward, trying to grab your feet one day, maybe grabbing your calf. If you don't want to use the pillow at all, you're also welcome to just hinge forward, tucking the chin, and just trying to use gravity to bring that upper body down. You can have your hands on your thighs, or again, reaching for your feet. But we want this to be passive. So I'm going to keep my elbows at my side to kind of brace my shoulders and gently let me soften in a bit more. And again, we want to keep our joints safe, so making sure there's a little bit of flexion in your feet if you're pointing up, and a gentle bend in the knees if this is feeling too tight for you. You can also put a blanket underneath your knees. If the pillow is too thick, that's another good option. Just find a shape that feels comfortable enough and then soften in. So we've already been here for a little bit. What can we find? What sensation are we feeling? And can we attach a good sensation, a bad sensation? How can we characterize it? And if it's bad, does that mean that we need to ease up? Or is that the mind starting to assert control, trying to get us out of this pose, but your body needs it? So it's just opportunities to reflect and just sit in this shape and find space and grace in this shape. And as you open up, reassess. Can I round my upper body a bit more, go a little heavier? Can I walk my hands forward a little bit more and grow a little longer? And how can I keep the stretch in my legs? We're not trying to stretch our upper body, our shoulders, our chest. So whatever micro adjustments you're making, can we keep them in the legs, in the hips? And then we just breathe. This is a great pose to really feel your breath. So maybe noticing the rise and fall of the breath on your belly, pressing into the thighs. Maybe a slight rise and fall of your shoulders, of your upper body. As breath by breath, we go in just a little bit deeper. And then softening in, softening the jaw, softening the brow. Just trying to be fully present in this pose. "20 seconds left. We're almost done." All right, gently start to walk yourself back up. Removing any props if you were using them. Again, maybe take a moment to just wiggle it out. Shake those legs side to side. Just notice where you're feeling tension. And then we're going to set up for one of my favorite poses, pigeon pose or swan pose in the yin terminology. So we're going to start with our right leg bent. Then we're going to take our left leg and just start to swing it behind us. We're working our left leg straight out of the hip. We're going straight back. And our right leg, one day we're working it to where it's parallel with the top of our mat, but you can bend that knee as much as you need to really keep it safe, keep it comfortable. And then we're trying to get our hips square on the ground. So if your right hip isn't touching the earth, if it's hiked up too much, this is a great way to take that pillow, put it under your hip, brace your hip. Otherwise, if you do have it, that gives you kind of the space to go a little bit deeper. And I like to kind of go in slowly in this pose. We're here for 5 minutes, but first we're just trying to get into it. And you might want to stay here. You might want to take that pillow underneath your chest, come down on your forearms, and rest here for a few breaths. As you start to open up, you might feel that you can go deeper. It's great. So then you can take that pillow, maybe walk it a little bit more forward, come down on your forearms, rest your head on the pillow. And then maybe you're at the point where you don't need a pillow at all. You can just yeet it over to the side, take your hands on top of each other, and then rest your head on top of the hands, coming into a little bit of a sleeping swan, sleeping pigeon. Just do whatever feels good enough to get that sensation. So we all are looking for sensation. We just have to go in different forms to get that sensation. And that's okay. We're all on a different journey, but we all want the same thing. So your swan might not look like my swan, might not look like your friends, but it's all beautiful. It is good as long as we are keeping our bodies safe. So if you're so deep into it that you feel your muscles tightening, that your breath is caught in your chest because you're just trying to hold it, you're in it too deep. Back out just a little bit. Go only as deep in the pose as you can to maintain that calm, steady, relaxed breath. Because that breath is the key to really opening up into that pose. All right, we've been here for 2 minutes. We can maybe go a little deeper. So as our muscles soften up, as we open into the pose, can we adjust? As I open up, I can walk my foot just a little bit closer. Maybe you can walk your forearms down a little bit more. Maybe you can make some other adjustments. Maybe as you open up, you can remove that pillow from underneath your right hip. And just see how much space have you made already. And then come back to that breath. For yin classes, I love putting on good ambient background music. I don't want to include music in the videos because, not everybody is going to resonate with a certain soundtrack, a certain song. So I keep it simple, but I love putting on music in the yin classes. So classical music, nature soundtracks, just frequencies. It really sets the tone, the space to let you be in the pose in a bit more comfort. So I highly recommend, if you're struggling being present, use music as a tool to come back to our breath. And then maybe just noticing as we're softening in more, over halfway, how has this stretch changed? What are we feeling now? What is your mind doing now? Is it racing? Is it calm? And can we bring it back in balance with our breath? And there is our cue to release. So gently starting to walk your upper body back up if you reclined. Gently moving that pillow, shifting our weight over onto our right hip. We're going to take our left leg, swing it out in front of us, and set up for a bit of half butterfly, half separate leg stretching. So you can kind of feeling it out, but we want to get at the right leg is bent, left leg is straight. And just like we did with that first straddle pose, caterpillar pose, you're going to start to lean forward. So taking your pillow, if you would like it, you can either choose to go forward to kind of get into both hips, or you can choose to go over that left leg if you want to focus on kind of opening just the back side of the left leg. Either option. Normally I do go over my left leg, so I'm going to mix it up today and go forward, but we're really grounding down in both sitting bones, lengthening up, finding space, and then starting to hinge forward, surrendering that upper body down. And again, the forearms can be on blocks. You can have a bolster, a pillow, and bend that knee if we need to as well. Keep your knee safe. You can put that pillow under the knee if that feels comfortable. And you know what? I think I'm going to do that for a minute just to kind of get into it differently. But we want to keep that left foot flex, pointing up, and then finding length before rounding down. And then just breathing into it. And then as you get into this pose, as your body opens up, you might need to remove the pillows, remove any blocks. Just breathing into that space, that tightness. And I'm already feeling more open, so I'm going to move my pillow underneath to support the chest. And then breath by breath, can we maybe walk our fingers an inch more forward? Maybe tuck the chin, feel that upper body grow heavy. I'm really trying to release my muscles, release my weight. And so since my shoulders are over my elbows, my shoulders are being braced and supported by my elbows, I can just release my shoulder muscles, my back muscles, and I'm still being supported by my elbows on the earth. So maybe that's an option. Maybe you're so flexible, you're going all the way forward, your chest is on the floor. That's wonderful too. But breath by breath, coming back to whatever it is that we are finding, whatever shape we have, and breathing through it. And then maybe can we walk our right foot out a bit, get a little bit deeper into the right knee, the right hip. Maybe can we walk the left foot in a little bit, walk it out a bit, just changes the angle of the stretch. So it's an opportunity to play, to explore your body, find what's feeling good for you. Got a minute and a half left. Plenty of time to try something new if you want to just hold it for a bit. And then coming back to softness and stillness. We hold a lot of tension all throughout the body, especially in our face. So softening time and time again in that face. Soften that jaw, soften that brow. And it's kind of amazing how much that can change in the stretch. Maybe you have a block that could support the head. If I had a block right here, that would be wonderful right now. But I just got my pillow. But my pillow is supporting my chest, so I'll make do. I'm going to take my hands in fists, put my forehead on the fists. That's always a good stand-in for a block if you can't find them. Not quite as comfortable, but it works. And breathing for just a little bit more. All right, there's our cue to release. So gently start and lift yourself back up. Take a moment to move your props. Release the tension in the knee. So maybe bend it a little bit, give it a little wiggle, get that joint waking back up. And we're going to finish off this side with a shoelace pose. So we're going to go setting up for our shoelace variation. So the goal is to have our knees on top of each other one day. So bring your heels into your sides first and foremost, and then try to get your knees as stacked as you can. Then when you have that, flexing your feet, we're going to start to walk our feet out in front of us. One day they'll be parallel all the way, and that might not be today, so that is okay. Go as deep as you can, keeping those feet flexed, keeping them safe. Then inhale length. You might just be staying here, breathing here, or taking a pillow, taking a blanket to cushion it. You can start to round down over your knees, coming down. So you might need the pillow to support the chest. I'm actually flexible enough that I can fold over my knees and have that chest-knee connection. And then I can take the pillow to support the head. And then as we get into it, we might not need the pillow anymore. The bolster, the whatever you have. And that's also sometimes nice to have options of having multiple props because you need different firmness, different heights, different thicknesses, and just having a couple of things to work with gives you options, variations. And then we just breathe. And maybe taking a moment to notice, where do we feel it right now? This can be a bit of a tight pose for many. So especially if your legs aren't coming to parallel with the mat, that's okay. That's where most of us are. That's where I was for a long time. So can we just be grateful for our bodies where they are in this moment, allowing us to experience this pose in any way, and giving us permission to not go as deep so that way we can feel more. And then as we're adjusting, as we're warming up, can we go a little deeper? And breathing into our back line. Just over a minute left, a minute and 15. So knowing that the end is almost here, how can we make the most of the time that we still have? So can we make those micro adjustments, get a little bit deeper, get a little bit softer, and really just relax into the shape? Just 10 seconds left. All right, and then we release. Gently start to walk yourself back up. Release those legs. Maybe do a windshield wiper one more time. Then we're going to do that whole set on the other side. So setting up for swan pose again. Now this side, instead of doing it with the right leg, we're going to bring that left leg forward and the right leg extending straight out from the hip behind us. And just trying to get comfortable. So bending your knee as much as you need to first get into it and get those hips square. Checking in, is my leg out behind me? And then taking that pillow if you need it, putting it under your hip to really get those hips square with the mat. And if you need it, that's where this stays and you're just staying up, working that hip down over time. Or taking that pillow out in front of you to support that upper body. Just trying to get comfortable. Maybe staying on the hands, maybe coming onto your forearms. And just kind of taking a moment here at the beginning, assess. We tend to be different side to side. So what can we notice? I'm definitely tighter on my left side most days. And I know what habits in my life are creating that tightness, but it gives you kind of an opportunity to reflect, what routines are creating imbalance in our frame. And then adjusting into it as we open up. Can we go deeper? Can you lower the upper body down? And again, to soften into this pose. This is a great pose where you could have a block right in front of you to rest your forehead on it. Or you can take both of your fists, stack them up, rest your forehead on your fists. And if you are open enough, you can remove the pillow entirely and just come down on your hands. And it might surprise you with the pose, the shape that you have when we start, and the pose that you have a couple of minutes in can be very different. And that just goes to show how much opening our body can do when we give it time. We're training our nervous system to stay calm. That nervous system taps into every aspect of our body, really, right? So the better we can regulate our breath, the better we can get into this shape. Just under 2 minutes left. So committing now, do we want to keep this current shape and just hold? Or do you want to recommit to a new edge, adjusting in just a little deeper? Maybe softening in that upper body. Can your chest, can your head grow heavy and sink in? Maybe noticing what feelings are coming up, what thoughts are coming up. We hold a lot in our hips, and so we can find a great release. And with that release, maybe surprising emotions. So can we just see them, acknowledge them, and send them on their way? Because we are safe in this pose, as long as we're approaching it with kindness and warmth. Got 20 seconds left, almost there, breathing through it. All right, and there we go. Gently start to walk that upper body back up. Being careful, being kind. Rolling onto our left hip. Taking that right leg, swinging it around and setting up for half butterfly on our other side. So right leg is straight, left leg is coming in. Kind of trying to make sure our sitting bones are both grounding in. And then same options on this side. You can go forward or you can go over that right leg. Either option, but I'm keeping it balanced, doing the same thing each side. And again, bend that knee, put a pillow under it if you need it, if you feel that tightness. It's perfectly valid. Or take that pillow, support the chest. As you start to walk that upper body down. And maybe putting a block to support the forehead. Just doing whatever feels right to get some space, to find some comfort. And recommitting, having a gentle bend in that foot, keeping that foot flexed. It's going to keep the joints a little bit safer. And then just softening in, breath by breath. So as we get into this pose, how does it feel? What micro adjustments can we make? We walk the upper body ever so slightly forward, tucking that chin, growing heavy in the head. What are you feeling right now? What thoughts are arising? Is your mind restless? Is it bored? It's ready to be done. Thinking of chores, thinking of errands. And your job, breath by breath, is to acknowledge those thoughts and send them on their way. And coming back to this moment. As your body is in control now, just for a little longer. And your mind can take back over when our practice is done. Just over a minute and a half. Almost there. Can I go a little bit deeper? We have just under a minute. So we're here at the end. What sensation can I find? Staying away from pain, just discomfort is the goal. And breathing until that discomfort goes away. All right, then that's our cue. Start to walk yourself up, going into our shoelace pose on the other side. So left leg is under, right leg is over, working our heels towards our side as we stack our knees. And when we have that, keeping the feet flexed, just wiggle walking them forward, trying to get them parallel. And if you don't have them parallel, you just stay here and maybe gently start to hinge forward if it feels okay. But we're really trying to focus on the lower body. So trying to stay up if we can, just work those legs straighter. And if you do have it, we start to walk forward, maybe taking that pillow, hugging it as you round in, or taking that pillow in front of you to support the head. Just trying to find a way to get comfortable for a few minutes. I feel like this can be one of the most uncomfortable poses, just depending on the day because the knees are in the way. But we do what we can with the pose that we have. And I'm just going to go ahead and rest my body all the way over. And softening in. You could also, if you do have the flexibility in your spine, you could round in all the way, bring your forehead to your knees. Some days that feels good, some days that's too intense. And today is one of those days where it's too intense. So I'm going to focus on hinging all the way forward, resting my chest on my knees. And then just kind of feeling, how is it different on this side? We're already at the 2-minute mark. Assessing for those micro adjustments if we can. Maybe noticing, where do we feel the stretch right now? Has the stretch moved? How is it different from the other side? Checking in with our mind. Are our thoughts racing? Are they restless? I'm finding myself feeling restless, wanting to release. And that's just that reminder, breath by breath, that my body needs this. I'm okay. Just stay present. 40 seconds left. Almost there. All right, there's our cue. Start to walk yourself up. We're gonna make our way into saddle pose now. So this can be a tough pose for many, and so there's lots of options. So the goal, eventually, one day, we're gonna be sitting on our mat, rolling our calves out of the way if we need to, trying to bring our sitting bones to making contact between our heels. And this can be a tight pose for many. So if you don't have that contact, you can take that pillow, support your hips. If it's also too intense, we can do it one leg at a time. So you can take your right leg out in front of you, just work your left hip down, and I'll tell you at the halfway part when to switch to the other side. But I'm gonna go ahead and do regular. So working my upper body down. So you might be staying up here, hands on your knees with that cushion underneath your hips. You're welcome to stay here, or you can start to walk that upper body back, supporting yourself, supporting your joints. You might just stay here. You could have a pillow behind you. As we open up into it, you might be able to release down onto your elbows. A little bit of a heart opener at this point. You can do that, but I'm going to keep it up on my hands today. And then just trying to get comfortable. And this pose is a lot. And considering the fact that I do this pose every day in the Hot 26 sequence, and I can go all the way back, it just shows how open my yang muscles are. But I am struggling right now to go all the way back because my connective tissues, my yin tissues, they are resisting. So as we are getting into these poses, right, no body is the same, and the same body isn't the same from day to day, and that's okay. But I do think I'm warm enough now into it that I can move the pillow out of the way. So that is something. Maybe start to gently bend your elbows if you can go all the way back. And if you are comfortable enough that you can go back, that's wonderful. This is a wonderful stretch for your feet, for your knees, but it is a tough one. So be kind. We're at the halfway mark, so if you were switching it out side to side, go ahead and transition to the other side. Maybe can you wiggle your hips a little bit lower? And can you soften in? It's hard to do in this one, I know. But soften the face. Soften your thighs, soften your toes. Those are places I tend to hold. And just notice what's coming up. If you were staying fully seated as we've gotten into it, do you have some more space now? Can you walk the upper body back just a little bit? Maybe, maybe not. Stay above pain. And just notice how it's feeling right now. Got 1 minute and 20 seconds left. Maybe tucking the chin. Maybe dropping the head back. Yeah, just find what's feeling right. Will either one let you soften a bit more? And breathe. Don't forget to breathe. 30 seconds left. Almost there. Fifteen seconds. Almost done. All right, gently start to walk yourself forward and then walking your hands out in front of you. And take a moment here to maybe do some donkey kicks, kind of wiggle the feet, get some blood flow. Maybe do a downward dog or two, just bending into the knees. Just awaken those joints back up. And then we will come to lying on our backs for one last little set. Okay, so moving our props out of the way unless you really, really need them. We're going to make our way into banana asana. Bananasana, I don't know, however you want to say it. We do a laying side bend. So first and foremost, we're laying, making our hips and our shoulders making contact. Arms are up overhead, palms facing up. Now we're going to try to stretch the right side of our body. So we're going to wiggle walk our feet over to the left corner. And then wiggle walk, shimmy our shoulders over to the left corner. And really trying to ground down on that right hip and ground down in the low right rib. Feel that stretch. So this might be enough. You might want to take your right foot on top of the left. You might want to take your right hand on top of the left. Just kind of make some micro adjustments here to see how can you feel more sensation in the right side of our body. And then deep belly breaths in this pose. You can kind of breathe into your ribs, breathe into your belly. And really just feel that space between the ribs as we grow a little bit deeper inner stretch over time. So as we warm up, do we have the space to wiggle deeper? Maybe noticing in this pose, where are you holding the most tightness? Where is your breath going? Can you send your breath somewhere else? Can you adjust yourself to maybe get the stretch a little bit more focused in a different area? Just kind of being curious and playful of how can I get a little bit more sensation. You could also take your left hand if you wanted to grab onto your right wrist and kind of pull it. That might help you ground into the shape a little bit more. Got 1:45 left. So whatever you need to do to find that sensation, you got plenty of time. And then don't forget to soften in. What's that mind doing right now? Is it restless? Can we bring it back to that breath? All you are in this moment is inhale and exhale. 30 seconds left. This is our last little pose, and then we'll be done for the day. Just got to do the other side. So commit to yourself to be present. It's almost done. All right, that's our cue to make our way to our other side. So gently start to shimmy your shoulders back in through center. Then gently shimmy your feet back in through center. I'm feeling a little off in my spine right now, so I'm going to ground my feet real quick, lift my tailbone, just elongate my spine. So that way I'm sure that I'm starting off on a good neutral spinal position. And then extending my feet back out long, extending out my arms ahead, and then we're going to start to go over to the right side. So shimmying our feet over to the right corner, shimmying our arms, shimmying our shoulders, and then just going as deep as you need to feel that stretch. So I am definitely different on this side. I'm feeling a lot more resistance, and that's okay. But I am taking my right hand, grabbing onto my left wrist and pulling just a little bit to really keep my arm from getting too lax. Really trying to feel sensation on the whole right side of the body. Sorry, the whole left side of the body. I'm doing the other side. And so, yes, we have done most of this class in the legs and the lower body. But the whole body is connected. And so just making sure here at the end, we're bringing some balance back throughout our kinetic chain. So we're stretching our legs and balancing it back out equally in the upper body. I feel like it's just a good way to round it out and make sure we're not too off when we go back to our life off of the mat. So can we make sure that we're feeling a stretch all along the left side of the body? As we open up, can we shimmy a little more? But really making sure that left hip is keeping contact. It's not hiking up away from the ground. And breathing into your lower ribs, your belly. Almost halfway. There's a couple of seconds to the halfway points. And softening in. This is it. This is the last pose of the day. So commit to yourself. Just a few breaths more and you are done. Coming back to that breath. If the mind has wandered, just bring it back down, being here in this pose. 15 seconds left, almost done. All right, there we go. Gently start to shimmy your back, your shoulders back to neutral, shimmy your feet back to neutral. And then gently, we're gonna roll ourselves over to your favorite side. Just give it a moment for your spine to come back to neutral. And then gently starting to work your way back up into a comfortable seat. And so maybe keeping the eyes closed, keeping those senses drawn in a little bit longer. Maybe your hands on your knees, maybe hands coming in towards heart center, rubbing each other, just feeling that sensation, that heat. And then pausing for a moment in stillness and in gratitude. So for everything that you have shared on your mat, we all benefit off of our mat. I truly believe it. So that the work that you are doing for yourself is also helping as you go out and interact with others. They will see the change and want it for themselves too. So keep doing the good work. Go in kindness. Until we meet on our mats again, I bow to you and say Om Shanti, peace, peace within, peace around, and peace to those who need it most. So thank you so much. If you found this video even slightly helpful, I would love it if you could like, subscribe. Let's help get this content out in front of the people that need it the most. And otherwise, keep doing the good work. Go enjoy, do good in the world, and I will see you on our mats again soon. Bye.